Warning, there may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tailgate Talks, episode 105. This episode is sponsored by the one and only Differential Recycling and Junk Removal. More on them later. Gentlemen, how we doing? How we doing today?
Pretty good. Stomach's in shambles. Don't know if I'll be at training tomorrow at 8:80. But Mr. Suntimer has his show in Greenville. Everybody come out if you live in Greenville, in his backyard. I'll be there, probably filming some videos for him.
Yeah.
And the Pirates are back.
Well, Alex, all I did last week was I roofed all week, celebrated freedom and my mother because it was her birthday on Saturday, all weekend, and now I'm back to working all week long.
Roofing, that's real fun.
Real fun.
It's not fun. I don't enjoy it.
But I don't either.
Creates discipline. That's the only thing that keeps me going.
And back pain.
I'm killing myself to create discipline, which is going to help me in the future. And I'm not actually killing myself, but it was 95 degrees up there the other day, and I'm sitting up there screwing screws in, and I'm like, oh my Lord, this is never going to end. It did end, but it didn't feel like it.
I've done roofing in that kind of temperature before too. It's not fun.
Oh, dude, last year we did one. It was 100 degrees that day. There was no wind. We were in the beating sun from 10 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night. When I tell you,
grind.
When I tell you I thought I was in hell, I thought I was in hell. It was so hot. I had a cutoff on, and I wore like a real light long sleeve shirt. And I took that long sleeve shirt off for 10 minutes. And by the time I put that long sleeve shirt on and got home, I was as red as an apple. I was fried in 10 minutes. Other than that, we're wonderful. You know, love work. Love it. And I'm studying. Love that too.
Studying. Who studies? But
I do.
There you go.
Where's that ultimate tax guide or whatever the hell else is on your desk?
Underneath.
Oh, it's holding up your monitor. That's right. Yeah, master tax guide.
Somebody's got to know the rules.
But anyway, Bryce, unfortunately, we do have to talk about the Pirates to start off. I know everybody sees the title of this video. Yes, this is Bold Takes Week. I'm thinking maybe try this like the first of every new month. Shake it up a little bit each week, so it's not like so we're not doing the same old like stuff. So yeah, but we do have to still, like we always do, keep up with news and other stuff because we don't want to fall behind, because falling behind in sports media is annoying.
Yep.
So, and we'll get to we're going to try to get, I know I say this, I feel like I say this every week. We're going to try to get to the Argos again next week. It's just, we're so loaded.
Yeah,
they are off to a slow start. We're going to have to analyze some things, and we'll give proper analysis of what's going on with the Argos and the Rough Riders with Trev. So, but the Pirates, Bryce, they won 5 straight. 9-1, 9-2, 12-1 against the Mets, and then 7-0, 1-0, 5-0 against the Cardinals. And then they got swept by the Mariners and did not score a run. And one of those games, they had 2 hits, both by Spencer Horowitz, and they did not pass first base. Now, let's get the positives out of the way. Paul Skeens, for the second straight year in a row, is going to the All-Star game. He is, I don't know, I'd have to take a look at like the pitchers available. I I would assume he's probably going to be the starter again for the second straight year in a row. I don't know that. He's the best pitcher in the league. So,
You know what sucks?
though,
I don't know. I love Skeens, but Tariq Skubal was having another crazy
I was just
year.
about to say him. I was just
Can we give some more flowers real quick before we get on to all the terrible, absolutely awful things about the Pirates right now? Very polite golf clap and flowers for the one and only David Bednar, National League Reliever of the Month for the month of June.
Ooh.
Trade him.
Trade him. The
Why is
Pirates
he
should be
still on the
sellers at the
team?
deadline, but you know.
He's
Trade him to the
Anyway.
Athletics for Nick Kurtz.
Shout out to the Pittsburgh guy, and shout out to him bouncing back a little bit and actually not being absolutely terrible now that he got pulled back up.
He has for sure bounced back. Absolutely. Now here's the thing, though. He better be gone at the deadline since he's back.
Yeah.
And a guy that should also be gone, like right now, is Colin Holderman, because I don't know why he's still with the Pirates.
Get him out of here.
I forgot he's still there.
He does the same thing in AAA.
Do you know what's so annoying to me? Okay, the Pirates are abysmal. Yes, we know that. The Athletics are even more abysmal.
Yeah.
You know what's bad, though? If the Athletics had the pitching staff that the Pirates did with the hitters and fielders they had, the Athletics would be top 15 in the league right now.
Oh, we're already starting off with a bold take.
No, that's not even a bold take. That's just facts, dude. They've given up 524 runs this year. And they've only scored 384, and they're sitting at 37 and 55. If they had pitching, the Athletics are legit. They just don't have any pitching. But I'll tell you who has so much pitching that they can't call everybody up at one time, the Pirates. So here's an idea. We'll give you Bubba Chandler and Mitch Keller, and we want Jacob Wilson in return.
That's not going to work. That is not going to work. Keep dreaming.
We'll give you Solimento. We'll give you Jared Jones even.
Easy. What the?
I don't care, dude. We need hitting. We cannot hit. I'm pretty sure we could throw a 12-year-old out there and give him 100 at-bats, and he'd probably put the ball in play more than Henry Davis is right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
well.
goodness, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to spend too much time on the Pirates. I just wanted to. They did lose 6-0, 1-0, and 1-0.
Tommy Pham dinger. 2-run bomb. Oh my gosh. I was just about to say Tommy
Mike,
Pham
I know what
sucks.
you went through your head for a
back.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went through my head too.
No, sorry, I take that back. I apologize to Henry Davis. I meant Jared Triolo. Any other team, this dude is not a professional baseball player. Why is he a professional baseball player on the Pirates?
Anyway. So, Paul Skeens pitched 5 innings, 5 hits, 10 Ks, of course, got pulled, and of course did not get the win. Didn't get the loss, but did not get the win. Yeah, man. It's just no matter what, even if the Pirates go on a little bit of a hot streak, cold, like always, they just don't help Skeens. I don't get it. What's with no offense when Paul Skeens is on the mound? Seriously, I don't get it.
It's almost like they know that he's going to hold them to like 1 to 2 runs. So they're like, as long as we push a run across, we'll be good. So they don't actually focus on trying to score runs. That's kind of my assumption, because there's no reason that every time he pitches, we just decide that we're not going to swing the bat that day.
I don't know. It's just like, dude, I don't even know. By the way, sim-wise on MLB The Show, it has Rowdy Tellez batting .297.
Rowdy.
Let's strike him out real quick. But with Skeens, with Skeens, I have a 1.93 ERA, so pretty realistic. But he actually has wins, so a little unrealistic. But I don't know, man. I'm sure in the coming weeks, Bryce and I will talk about the trades that the Pirates will be probably making during the deadline. and we'll see. But anyway, boys, it's time to give out some bold takes. So the way I want to do this is we will all say one at a time. Probably get the last ad read out of the way so we don't forget about it, and then obviously do a second time, and then third time, and there we go. So I think for the order, we should go in last year's March Madness rankings order, but in reverse. So I will go last.
I disagree.
You should go first.
Hey?
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. I'll give the one that I had prepared ahead of time. The other two I'm going to try and figure out, maybe base them off of some things that I hear from you guys.
Okay.
Guys, I know that I'm just going to be a delusional Penguins fan here, but hang with me, all right? I just need you guys to hang with me. Take a drink of my canned beverage first. The Penguins have a history of being pretty good when new coaching staffs come in. Made a pretty big run when Bosma took over. Obviously, Sully took over mid-season. Won the Cup that year. Won the Cup the next year. With lots of help from Jim Rutherford. 100%. Jim Rutherford was huge in making all those moves at the deadline to improve the roster that first season when Sully was brought in at the deadline. But I think that with some of the draft picks that we made this year and the way that we're going to be getting a little bit cheaper and younger on the roster, combined with that spark of a new head coach, a guy that's been around, knows what he's doing, works for successful hockey teams, I think the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to win the Stanley Cup. No, I'm just kidding. I think the Penguins are going to make like a conference semifinals, maybe Cinderella conference finals run this year. Make it to the Eastern Conference semifinals, lose to I don't know, the Lightning or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In 5 games or 6 games. Which doesn't sound like that crazy, but when you think about the fact that we've missed the playoffs for 3 straight seasons after making it for 18 or whatever, yeah, I think the Pens are going to make a surprisingly deep run in the playoffs this year.
Okay. So with my thing with this one is I don't hate it. Of course I put in it's the Penguins, but from a journalistic point of view, I don't hate it. However, I still think they are just Crosby. Forget about Crosby. He's still to go, but I still think they're just an old team. Now, hold on.
They are. I agree.
Hold on. Are they? Do I feel like they are finally trying to start the post Crosby, Malkin, and Letang era? Yes, I do. But I don't think they're that good to do that. From Alex's take, is what I'm trying to say. Do I think they could sneak their way into the playoffs? Yes, I do. But I think at best, because this is probably, I think it's the last time the 3 of them are going to be together, right? Because Malkin's probably gone, I think.
Yeah.
That they will be a first-round exit in the playoffs. I think.
Right back to where we were.
I think. No. But here's the thing, though. You make the playoffs, that's obviously an improvement over the last few years. So,
yeah.
So I think as long as you just keep preparing for when Malkin, Letang, and eventually Crosby is gone, who's not going anywhere, by the way. Still love you, Marc-Andre Fleury, but come on.
Fleury. Flower.
I just don't. I think they're still too old, and I think they will get better with a new coach. But I just don't think that time is next season.
I'm kind of on the same page as you, Alex. I don't watch hockey enough, even though sometimes I sit down towards the end of the season and I'm like, why haven't I watched hockey all year long? This is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it? It's kind of like college basketball where it gets to March and you're like, oh my God, this sport is great. Why do I not watch this during the regular season?
That's me every year. Like I watched the game. I think it was against the Red Wings where they ended up winning, but Nedeljkovic had like an absurd amount of saves in like a 5 minute span to
Yeah.
allow them to win the game. And I
Rip
was like,
Nedeljkovic,
who
by the
is
way.
this guy? This is the best sport in the world. You can't argue with me. But
Bye-bye,
I agree with
Nedeljkovic.
you. I think this year, I mean, a Pittsburgh team hasn't won a playoff game in what,
Like 10 years.
10 years?
Or,
I think I agree with you. I
no,
think
it's
this
been less
year,
than that.
well, it
Well,
wasn't the Pirates. It had
It
to have been the
wasn't definitely
Penguins.
certainly wasn't the Pirates.
Had
do
to
you
have been
want to
the
go
Penguins.
like for Pens? Do you want to go like playoff series?
Yeah, let's
Winning
go
a
the last
playoff
time.
game in like hockey or baseball.
Let's just say like a series win. Like football, yeah, one win. We haven't had that in a while either. But baseball's the same way. We haven't had a series win in a while. So it has to be the Pens the last time somebody's won a game/series. Either way,
Let's.
I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think Pittsburgh needs to see a playoff win, or else the city's going to disappear someday. Because Pittsburgh was kind of built on winning when you really think about the history of the city back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s. So losing that
Wow.
success loses the city. So I think I agree with you. I think this year is the year that um, one of the teams is going to win. But if I had to pick which one it's going to be, I would say it would be the Pens too.
Wow, the Pens haven't won a playoff series since the year after they won the second cup. They won
8
a
years then.
series. They won a series in the 17-18 season and have not won since.
So 8 years. It's been
Since a
8
series
years.
win. Oh
Yes.
my God.
You know what? You know what? They're due. Pittsburgh team is due. If it's not the Steelers, it's got to be the Pens. If it's not the Pirates, it's definitely not the Pirates. It's got to be the Steelers or the Pens.
It is definitely not the Pirates. But yeah, so I like it. That's a good first one. Bryce, it is now your turn to give out your first bold take of episode 105.
You want something a little lighter, or do you want the meat and potatoes right now?
Up to you.
All right. I'm going to say that college sports in general, across the board, are far more entertaining than professional sports because of the fans, the history, all the other extra stuff. Like I wake up Saturday mornings and I'm like, I need to watch College Game Day. I need to see this. I don't wake up on Sunday and want to listen to Terry Bradshaw, who's half asleep, talk about the NFL slate. I just don't. But it also goes deeper than that for me. Like just college sports in general, like that Saturday morning football, like I don't know. It's just the college scene to me is more
Superior.
exciting, it's more thrilling, and I think more people get excited about it than professional sports. Like you don't have 100,000 people in an NFL stadium rocking out to jump around if you're Wisconsin, or Enter Sandman if you're the Hokies, or even Mr. Brightside up in the big house. You don't have that in professional football or professional basketball for that matter. Like game 7 for the Thunder, after they won, it was like nobody really cared. Everybody just kind of was like, oh, yeah, we won. That's great. That's awesome. Ohio State wins the national championship and everybody goes ballistic. It just means more in college, I think. I think NIL might hurt that, but what'd you say?
TJ McConnell's mom cared.
Yeah.
A
Probably
lot.
the only person. But I just think the college scene is just far more thrilling, exciting, entertaining, and emotional. Honestly.
I wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
Yeah, because like I'm gonna be real honest. I mean, the amount I was tweaking at the semifinal game with Penn State and Notre Dame. I don't think I've ever tweaked that much for an NFL game. Ever.
Like, I'll sit down on a Saturday night and watch Utah versus Florida State, and you would think that I've been a Utah fan or a Florida State fan, whichever one I'm pulling for that day, my whole entire life. And everybody else that is that likes the same team as me, or wants the same thing as me, we're now connected and we're friends because of this.
Dude, I swear to God, that's like I turned into like the biggest hater on planet Earth this past year when I watched Florida State open the year against Georgia Tech in Ireland, and everyone was like, "Oh, DJ's transferring from Clemson to Florida State. He's going to be so good at Florida State." And I was just sitting there, just like screaming at my computer. I was like, I told you he's going to be garbage. He's bad. He's a bust. He sucks. Like, I was losing my mind.
He's phony.
You think I was the biggest Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets fan of all time?
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's just far more exciting. Like, if I think of the perfect Saturday, I think of, well, we got to start at 1 a.m. when I throw the brisket on the smoker.
Yeah.
And then I run to the D-Strib to get some canned cold beverages. And then I get home, I throw on a massive breakfast for the family, have some people over, open those canned beverages, eat that brisket, and watch my team put some you-know-what to the other team. That's like my perfect Saturday. My perfect Sunday, don't have one. It doesn't really revolve around NFL football. Now, and I think that's partially because of the times the games are played, but we'll wait on that. That wasn't my take. My take was just that college sports are better in general.
I agree.
Oh, man.
And I think, honestly, everybody hates on NIL, but I think NIL is going to kind of even that playing field out a little bit. I mean, you already see it with Nebraska. Nebraska's starting to sign some key blue chip dudes. And if it was not the NIL era, I don't think they'd even be close to signing some of these guys.
Probably not.
Okay.
Michael.
My turn. Ew, don't ever say that again. Okay. Alex, you're going to be shocked what my first one is about. It is about Big Ten football.
This should get interesting.
Let's go.
I'm going to double check something just real quick if you guys do not mind.
Watch what you say about Big Ten football.
Yeah, me and Bryce will both. I can't say that. Me and
jump
Bryce
to
will
this.
both be very upset with you if you talk bad on Big Ten.
I'm going to
football.
drive to your house and I'm going to tell you that you're wrong.
So I knew this team had a good record last year. I just was double checking on the specific. I think throughout all of college football next season, the number one dark horse is Illinois.
I was really hoping you were going to say another team because I'd be all about it.
Because think about it. Now, here's the thing. They are going to for sure lose to Ohio State. That's not even up for...
Do they play?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they do. So I should have had this prepared, but I'm going to pull up Illinois' schedule.
Yeah, for those who don't know, for the viewers who don't know, Ohio State hates Big Ten teams with I states, as evidenced from what's left of the Indiana Hoosiers from last year.
Yeah.
I still hate all of you.
Now here's the thing: I am not saying that they're going to go. They're just going to have one loss and lose to Ohio State because I think there's at least two. So this is their schedule. Versus Western Illinois.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Duke. Western Michigan. This one I'm 50-50 on. At Indiana. I think that's probably going to be a loss, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised that that's where the conversation about Illinois starts.
Okay.
Then, Mike, Indiana is a top 5 football program. They can compete with the best teams in the country.
Then, their homecoming, they host USC. They're going to be fired up for that one. Then they're at Purdue, and then they host Ohio State. That's going to be a loss. And then at Washington versus Rutgers versus Maryland. This one I'm 50-50 on, at Wisconsin and versus Northwestern.
EJ will lose his mind.
I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, seems like a dark horse kind of schedule.
I agree.
I like it, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. They're gonna have to go 11-1 because if they don't make the bowl game and their loss is to Ohio State, there's going to be 12 other teams either from the ACC, SEC, or Big Ten that'll get in over them just because of how the rating shaked out. Like if they enter the top 25 by week 3 or 4, it's very possible that they could take that loss to Ohio State and still get in the top 12. But if they take a loss to Ohio State and then say like 3 weeks down the road they lose to Washington, write that off.
Right. And
but they did have a sneaky good season last year. You're right on that. I didn't realize that. They beat Michigan.
They did.
I
mean, shutting down Michigan's offense wasn't difficult last year. Even Ohio State did that, but we know what happened there.
Hell to the victory.
Dom would be, if Dom was here right now, he'd be like this. Hail to the victory valiant, hail.
But
yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, Illinois they lost to Penn State by 2 scores on the road. Not bad. They got crushed in Eugene. Not shocking. And then they lost at home against Minnesota by a score.
If you kind of look and digest those teams that they lost to, though, they beat Penn State they lost to Penn State only by 2 scores. But in that
Penn State
game,
to 21 points.
Exactly. Penn State tried to run the ball in that game, and they realized they couldn't. It was the air attack that beat them. If I remember correctly, that was the one where Tyler Warren was the center and caught the touchdown pass. And so the air attack beat them. Oregon, huge air attack, beat them. And Minnesota, I don't remember that game at all. I probably didn't even watch it. But
they're predominantly a throwing the ball team.
Exactly. So the air attack must have been what hurt them because they shut Michigan down. I remember we couldn't run on them, and we didn't have a working quarterback to be trying to throw a forward pass. So
the only weird game from this schedule is the 50-49 overtime win at home against Purdue. That's bizarre.
Yeah, Purdue though, man, they're always that sneaky freaking team.
Trust me, I remember. I remember very well.
I like that take though. Honestly, I hope like 6 months down the road when Illinois makes it, you can clip this and throw it somewhere and be like, I called it.
You know what? 28 minutes. 28. Boom, boom. Clip it. Okay, there we go. And here's the thing. I'm going to add. Actually, I'm going to add on to that one. I think Illinois could be like Indiana last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I guess so.
I'm going to go
the QB
1 inch farther. Yeah. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we got to pay the bills. So, Alex, go right ahead.
Those of you that may not know, this episode of Tailgate Talks is sponsored by the one and only the Frischer Recycling and Junk Removal. The Frischer is a family-run business based out of Greenville, Pennsylvania, that provides services such as vehicle purchasing, scrap metal purchasing, appliance removal, junk removal, garbage services, dumpster rentals, curbside pickups, house garage, building cleanouts, and demolition services around the Greenville and Pittsburgh areas. Not just those 2 areas, but you get the gist. If you are in need of any of these services or know anyone who might be in need of these services, visit the links in the description of this video to their Facebook page and their main website to get in contact with them and see if they provide their services near you. Thank you to Frischer for sponsoring this episode.
Okay. So yeah, God, I'm tired. So overall, Alex, what do we think about the first round of bold takes? I like it. I like them.
I like these takes. And Bryce
Yeah.
actually inspired me with one or two of the comments that he made. So
Don't you worry, I've got more. They get spicy, man.
Oh gosh, Bryce, you got any comments about the official sponsor of Tailgate Talks?
Call Braden. He'll take care of you.
there you go.
100% will take care of you. And he'll clean out. I'll say what, their clean out videos that they post on TikTok, life changing. It goes from
Might have to watch some
a
of those.
hoarder's closet where you can't even get through to like a dance floor at a wedding, wide open with all this space.
I'm gonna have to watch some of those. Those are some of my favorite videos to watch on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, it is crazy. Something like you see trash that's literally stacked up to my ceiling to the floor, and there's just one walkway to get to the appliance, and then it's like wide open. It's crazy.
There we go. But all right, round 2. Back
Ding
to,
ding ding.
because he called it to me earlier. Back to Alexander.
All right, round 2 of bold takes. You know, Bryce, you were talking about NIL, and it got me thinking about something that I've been thinking about, and I think it's going to happen because I personally think that this man needs to be involved in college ball one way or another. NIL is obviously in its very infant stages right now, kind of like the Wild West at the moment. People are just kind of doing whatever the heck they want. People are calling Ohio State's run a Mickey Mouse run because the expanded playoff and they had the most expensive roster in the country, whatever.
It was.
Just
Who said
pay
that?
pay players more money from your school. If you like the school so much, make a donation and help them sign more players. Yeah, see, Bryce got it going over there.
I'll donate some golf tees and a do it fixer.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's gonna go towards Bryce Underwood's golf bag for his off days.
He's not
Anyway.
swinging a golf club while he's on campus. He's not going to leave his dorm after 10 o'clock.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I think that we will approach this very quickly where there needs to be some sort of umbrella regulation, kind of like the NFLPA or any players association for any professional sports league. There's going to need to be some form of, office for NIL across all of college sports, and it'll probably be broken up by sport, I would imagine. I think within the next 3 or 4 years that the NCAA will establish a commissioner of NIL for all of Division One, actually maybe all levels of football. And you know who the commissioner is going to be of NIL in college football?
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Nicholas Saban.
Nailed it. I think in the next 3 to 5 years instead of 3 to 4, 3 to 5 years, the NCAA will realize that there needs to be some organization type thing to manage NIL. And for college football, who better to manage NIL than the legend of college football, Nick freaking Saban?
I actually really like this. And most of the reason is it happened. It's about Michigan, so it's going to have some bias because I'm thinking about how they've gotten in trouble recently with this. So Harbaugh buys a recruit a cheeseburger when they were out at lunch talking about the recruitment process, what they were doing, and that's an NIL. That is a level 3 NCAA violation, whichever one's the lightest one. But we're allowed to throw 10 mil at Bryce Underwood if he wants to come play here. Not a problem. I think that's where the problem lies with all the NIL stuff. If it's all hypothetical, like if you come play here, your NIL valuation is going to be somewhere in this range, but we can't guarantee that until we figure out where our finances are and who else we're going to bring in. but it also needs to be a little bit laxed on that. Like me buying you a $20 lunch does not sway you to come play for me or not. Me
No.
throwing $10 million in a McLaren at you would definitely make me consider wanting to come play for you.
Bryce, I'll eliminate all the bias out of it for you right now because I think that is really, 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 really damn stupid.
Thanks for saying damn.
You're welcome.
I mean, it is. Like, it makes no sense to me how there's some of these violations are actual violations, but throwing all this stuff at you at an 18-year-old, mind you, is not. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. Like I forget who it was. I want to say it was the quarterback that committed to play at Colorado or transferred into there, the number 3 overall quarterback. Like his first day on campus, they had a brand new Lambo sitting there for him to just drive around and take for as long as he wants it. Like to me, that's crazy. But
That's nuts.
if I buy you a pack, if I buy you a pack of seeds and a sheet slushy, I am gonna get fined. Craziness, absolute madness. But I agree with you. Saban would be perfect for that and get some sort of regulation or just change the rules around a little bit.
Yeah.
Update the rules. Like these rules are all so outdated from the pre-NIL era, and then they come back. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see some team get the absolute hammer dropped on them for a massive infraction, kind of like Arizona State did with Pierce.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get the hammer dropped on them and it's going to set them back 50, 60 years before they're actually competing again. And
Yeah.
that's when you'll see NCAA step in and be like, okay, let's think about this.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much tackled it there. I mean, I can definitely see this happening because I feel like it's getting to the point where um, this is needed, and Nick Saban would be the perfect guy to shut it down. so, yeah. So, number 2 for Bryce. Go ahead.
All right. You asked for it. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit here.
Oh,
Oh
God.
yeah.
Love the guy, but Steph Curry, I'm going to use this word, has ruined basketball.
Wow.
I think all these kids now see Steph Curry pulling up from 40 feet and they're like, that's so cool. I should do that. And then they just take these horrible, horrible shots instead of actually learning the fundamentals. There's a reason that in a lot of people's top 5 or whenever they pick their starting 5, there's a reason Tim Duncan's in there and there's a reason his name's Mr. Fundamental. It's because the fundamentals work. If you can hit an elbow jumper 8 times out of 10, you're going to drop 20 points a game. But as you see with Steph, if he's throwing 10 threes up and 4 of them are from beyond 30, 40 feet, he makes maybe 1, maybe 2 of them. He's also the greatest shooter in basketball. I think it just it makes people live and die by the 3, which then in turn makes the game, in my opinion, less appealing. Like if I want to watch somebody just chuck 3-pointers the entire time, well, I don't want to watch that, so I never would. But I just turn on an NBA game. And that's one of the reasons that I think Steph's hurt the game. Like it's just he's a great shooter, he's a great player, nothing against him, but what he's done has now inspired a whole new generation to work on making those absurd, crazy jump shots instead of getting the basics down and then slowly working yourself back. Now, my thought on how to combat this, move the 3-point line back. Make it harder to make 3-pointers. But I just think it's set basketball back now because you see how many 3-pointers get shot a night. 40, 50 a night, sometimes more for a team. And if they only take 70 something shots on each side, that's more than half the shots. And those stats are off. Those are just off my head, but That's my hot take.
Boys, I just got to say, I'm excited for my last one.
So this is, I do agree that kids do take stupid shots because of Steph Curry. But do I blame Steph Curry if he knows he can make these shots? Do I blame him for shooting the ball that far and being that crazy? No.
You know, that's a fair point too, actually.
If he can make it, make it. Get the points. Now, the argument is it was ruined basketball. In terms of kids looking at Curry and like trying to be like Curry, yeah, he has. Do I think he's fully ruined basketball? No.
See, that's when I said ruined, I couldn't think of a better term in the moment. That's why I said he's kind of set it back. Because, you know, now this isn't a shot at the WNBA by any means, but the WNBA needed that spark on somebody that's going to come in and light it up like Steph. And Caitlin Clark was that person. And now they're getting views like they've never seen before. The NBA for years had that person with Steph, but now it's not just Steph. Now it's Trae Young that's coming in and pulling from deep. Now it's DeMar DeRozan. Now it's all these other guys that are starting to get their shot down and can pull from a couple feet off the line, maybe more than that. And now it's starting to become a more regular thing in the NBA where, oh, you know, I'm going to get the ball inbounds, dribble down the court, get 5 feet beyond half court, shoot a three, and if I make it, great, and if not, give it to the other team. That's part of the reason why I think the Thunder won this year, because they did shoot a lot of threes, but if you watch them, they actually did have a bunch of fundamental games. Shout out to Nate Stuyvesant for that, because he told me this stat about the Thunder. They were one of the most efficient teams on offense because they didn't just go down the floor and hurl a three-pointer. They passed the ball. If they had a shot underneath for a layup, they took it. If there was a wide open three or a good shot at a three, they took it.
Mm.
So I guess my ruined basketball was a little harsh.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So if it's all right with you guys, this next take is not, or what the next thing I'm going to say is not my second take. I'll say that in a minute. I want to add in an honorary mention if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
Shoot.
And I know Alex is going to agree. The team, one of the teams that is going to be a dark horse making it to the playoffs of the PSAC is your Edinburgh Fighting Scots. And
Let's go.
Here's the
Let's
thing.
go.
You know, here's the thing. I know what the segment is. I know what the show is. Bold takes. And I know I said honorary mention because it's, to me, it's not really that bold. Now, here's the thing. Jumping, like, with all due respect, jumping from 3 wins last year, Alex?
3-8.
3-8 to playoff team. You're gonna have to put the work in. That's why I'm saying honorary mention involved in the bold take. That's just the football analyst. Now here's the thing. Do I think they can do it? Abso-freaking-lutely. I think they can. Because they got the proper leaders in the room. Not saying they haven't in the past. I'm just saying that they still have proper leaders in the room with JT and Spiegs. And Coach Scott has brought these guys together. And the beginning of the season hasn't started yet. And they're already even closer than they already were. So I do believe Edinburgh will make it to the PSAC playoffs. You heard it here first. Alex, you were with the team last year, and is it too far-fetched to say that they could be a playoff team?
No, I thought they could have been last year.
I agree.
I thought from some of the moments that we had last year, I thought we could have been a playoff team last year. I think we easily could have won 7 or 8 games last year. I absolutely think we could have flipped our schedule.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I said it. How many times did we say it on the show that they were better than the record said?
Every week it felt like, honestly.
Yeah, literally. That's why this is why this is an honorary mention, because it's not that bold. The only reason why it's bold is because going with a new coach, I'm not sure what the quarterback situation is going to be looking like. It's obviously going to be between Bo and Meach. So with a question in that room and how's everybody going to come into camp? That's why I'm saying it's kind of bold to say playoff team right away. If that makes sense.
I think that's a very bold take, honestly. I think a lot of people are really going to expect us to be about the exact same this year as we were last year, especially with a new coaching staff, an entirely new coaching staff.
And that's fair. And this isn't a knock on anybody that hasn't seen, but here's the thing, Alex. While I was obviously there for my last semester, I saw how close Coach Scott was bringing everybody together at the basketball games.
Absolutely.
What people told me, even talking to Coach Scott himself when I interviewed him.
Yeah, right.
Like they I don't know. They are certainly together. And we will see. We will see what happens. So all right, so for my actual second bold take, I believe the Atlanta Hawks will trade Jalen Johnson,
a
second round pick, and a lot of first rounds for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes.
Wow.
I think the Atlanta Hawks will trade for Giannis because, in my opinion, I've thought about this. I was considering not putting this in. But I look at their offseason moves. I do like Ace Newell, but he's going to be on the bench, obviously. I don't think he's going to be in the starting five. I like their offseason. And I genuinely believe this. I think the Hawks are at the very least one big move away from getting back to what that Eastern Conference Finals team looked like years ago. And I do believe Giannis would be that move. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I was 50-50 on putting this in is because I understand with where Giannis is at right now, giving up all those first-round picks. Because I'm only saying this because I know I've said it before, and I know people will watch this and possibly go back in the future and like whatever. I would say get Giannis if you are confident you can retain Trae. Because make the first round picks that you would have to, because they're gonna have to give up a lot of first round picks to get Giannis. They're probably gonna have to trade Jalen Johnson. I know they just paid him, but you gotta give up a lot to get Giannis. I would only do it if you know you're gonna get Trae and retain Trae. And I know Trae wants to stay in Atlanta if they win. You get Giannis, you're gonna win. So yeah, and I totally, absolutely, positively forgot to write down the time for where I started with that take. But yeah, so that's it, Alex. I want to speed this through because I'm now incredibly curious what your third take is. So go ahead.
Boys. Gonna go back to college football for this last take.
Love me some college football. Hit me.
There's a team that didn't do too bad in their conference last year. They finished 7th, which isn't great. They went 8-5 overall, 6-3 in their conference. Not a terrible season by any means. Made a bowl game.
About the South Carolina Gamecocks, aren't you?
I actually am not, but that isn't a bad guess.
That was a shot in the dark.
From this team's current high school recruiting class rankings, you probably wouldn't think too much about it. They have the 48th best class in the country, which isn't terrible. Top 50 recruiting class isn't too bad. Only got 5 4-stars, 13 3-stars, no 5-stars, 18 total commits. But if you go to the transfer portal rankings, They are currently number 2 in transfer portal rankings with 21 total commits, 13 4-stars, 8 3-stars. And again, went 8-5 in their conference last year. Finished 7th, which isn't terrible, but 8-5, they were only 2 games worse than the team that won the conference. I think the Texas Tech Red Raiders are going to compete for the Big 12 title and make it to the college football playoff.
Bryce, I'm gonna let you have this one.
I'm feeling it. Sometimes I just get it. You get an itch about a team. See like what Bryce is doing right now. This is me looking at Texas Tech's recruiting class rankings right now.
That was an itch of. That is a horrible take.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
I don't even think Texas Tech is a top 2 team in their state.
I mean, no. I agree.
But I mean, where does Texas Tech play in what conference?
Big 12.
Ooh,
Hear
okay.
me out. Let me read you their schedule, right?
All right.
First game of the season, hosting the alma mater of Toronto Armstead, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Then they get Kent State also at home. Oregon State at home. 3 straight home games to start the year. Oregon State, Kent State and Arkansas Pine Bluff.
I got them 2-1 in that stretch.
Okay. On the road at Utah, 50-50. Depending on if Cameron Rising plays his 10th redshirt season for Utah this year. On the road against Houston, that'll be a good game in state. Home against Kansas, probably chalk. On the road against the defending Big 12 champion Arizona State Sun Devils, I think that they'll probably be pretty good again this year with Sam Levitt staying there. Home against Oklahoma State, at K-State. Home against BYU, who just lost their quarterback in a scandal, we'll call it. Hosting UCF, and then, yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that. Hosting UCF, and then on the road at West Virginia. So I see...
It'll be West Virginia.
A 9-3 season, maybe?
Oh, dude, let's see. I have them at 8-4.
Okay.
I think they lose to Oregon State. I think they lose to who is the team after Utah?
On the road at Utah.
I think they lose to Houston. And I think they lose to West Virginia.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, I think the games they have the biggest chances of losing are at Utah, at Houston, back-to-back, and then at AZ State, I think, are probably the 3 that they have the biggest chance of losing.
I guess I look at it as, you said they'd win their conference?
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. Colorado is completely out of the equation this year. Their recruiting class for this year was trash. Besides the quarterback, they didn't really bring much in my opinion. So I think you take Colorado off the table. Arizona State losing, I can't even pronounce his name, but you know who I'm talking about, the running back.
Gatabo? Yeah.
Hurts them because he was their team. Him and Genty were arguably the 2 best running backs in college football.
Probably.
Losing him hurts. But like you said, they kept Levitt, which helps. I'd say second or third again. But then again, it all depends on how they start. You know what I mean? Like if they get hot out the gate, maybe they steal one from Utah.
Yeah.
Maybe they steal one from Oregon State, and they're 4-0. After that, I would say if they go 1-1 in that stretch, they have a chance. So I guess I really don't hate it that much after I heard their schedule, but I also don't know if they can win the conference.
It'll be tough.
But also, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
We all saw how my Nebraska prediction ended up last year, so. Hey, SMU, though. It wasn't Preston Stone, but I wasn't wrong.
Oh, boy. But, all right, Bryce, your third and final bold take.
I have a couple other ones that at the end I'll just throw out with no explanation. I won't even defend it. I'm just going to throw it out there. But my last take. And this is going to rile a lot of people up on the social medias.
Oh boy.
Sports
God.
betting has ruined
Uh-oh.
all sports. I
I'm
think
gonna save my thing and I'm gonna give it to Mr. Kaiser when he sees this YouTube reel if it's made.
let me defend it for a second. Before sports betting was legalized, you'd sit down, you'd watch a game, and you'd cheer on your team. Nothing else. I want my team to win. Now, you want the quarterback on your team to throw 2 touchdowns and over 250 yards, and you want your wide receiver to catch a touchdown, and you want the score to stay under 45.5, and you want the opposing running back to get 50 plus yards to win $100 or more, depending on how much you bet. So now instead of watching that game for what it is and enjoying it, you're now constantly wondering, checking your phone nonstop to see how close you are to winning your bet, and then you lose it or you win it. More often than not, you lose it. And then you can't enjoy the game if your team wins because you just lost however much money you bet.
Actually, a fair point.
You know what's really funny, Bryce? I looked at my phone while you started talking about this and saw a text from my cousin on Snapchat, and I opened it, and it was her crashing out over her parlay not hitting.
My point proven.
That timing is impeccable.
I just think it's just too, especially some of these people. Like, I mean, I've seen some people throw hundreds, 200, even pushing $300 on a 4-leg parlay to win 10 grand. And then they fall one leg short. And that's what brings people back, is that one leg short. Oh, I was so close. They scored 48 points and I needed them to stay under 42. That touchdown didn't happen in garbage time, it would have hit. That's the gambler's mindset that gets that constant, I don't want to say aggression, but that like, oh, I lost it by a little bit. And then you put another one in, oh, I lost it by a little bit. And then so many of those little losses start to add up. And then you start to get angry at it, is what's happening. Oh, I have bad luck. But then you get pissed, ticked. Pardon my French.
I love this take.
Yeah, I
It's
like
so
it too.
common nowadays, and it's so popular. I love that take, though.
I mean, I don't think I can name you more than 5 people that aren't sports betting when football comes on, or basketball, or even baseball for some people. I can't name
Listen,
5 people.
I'm already miserable enough watching my fantasy team during football season. Why would I have to be miserable? Why would I want to be miserable watching my parlay not hit by 5 yards at the same time?
I am 100% agreement.
Yeah.
Like, I already have to deal with the fact that 4 out of my 7 running backs I drafted are injured by week 6.
Yep.
I don't want to deal with anything else.
But okay, this last one. I have said this in our chat. And I don't know, I don't think Bryce, you said anything, so I'm kind of curious what you're gonna say to this. It's a Pittsburgh Pirates one. Minus the god awful Chris Archer trade. Neil Huntington was not a bad general manager. Think about it. Think about it. Yes, there were bad seasons. There were bad seasons. But when it came time to win, you cannot deny he tried when he saw there was a product on the field. I only say this now because you look at Ben Cherington. I do believe if Neil Huntington was the general manager right now, he would have done something in the offseason. Unlike Ben Cherington, the Pirates would be a lot better than they are now. I think he would have fired Derek Shelton before the season. I don't know. I guess Donnie Kelly would be the manager. I don't know. I could, you don't know that. But I do think other than the Chris Archer trade, because it is the worst trade I've seen in my entire life. You cannot deny that Neil Huntington tried, and is proven, and there was proof that he tried. No, I'm sure he has lied to us before. 2019 season was bad, and I'll admit it was time to move on. It was time to move on. I'm not denying that at all. But once again, like I said, if you look at when it came time to win and there was a product on the field, he wasn't as bad as people said he was. I thought he was at best an okay general manager. So, Bryce.
How long was the Neil Huntington era with Pittsburgh?
That's a good question. How long was Neil Huntington in Pittsburgh?
I'm going to say it was 8 years.
That sounds about right.
We'll just say it was 8-9 years, somewhere in that range. 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
He resigned. He got fired in 2019.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'm going to say I partially agree with you. But the reason that team fell apart was also in part because of Huntington.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why I said he's an okay general manager.
Yes, I think he drafted better. Well, actually, I don't actually agree with him drafting better. I don't, because if you look at how Charrington has drafted the past couple years, he won with Skeens. He's winning with Connor Griffin right now, who is the number 2 prospect in baseball at this current moment, only behind Roman Anthony, who is in the league, by the way, at 20-something years old. And this 18-year-old that we just drafted, I think could plug and play right now, if you want me to be honest with you. And he couldn't do much worse than, what name comes to mind? Jared Triolo. I think he could do far more better than that. But back to your point. I think Huntington knew what he needed to put on the field to win, but he struggled with drafting that talent, and I think it's complete vice versa for Charrington. If you could put the two of them together with Charrington's drafting and Huntington's performance, we would not be having this discussion right now about him being an okay general manager. We would be like, sign this dude. We need him on the team as our GM. Because Charrington drafted Tamar Johnson too.
Yeah.
And Tamar Johnson is another guy that could be on the field right now playing, and I think could be helping us.
Yeah. I do believe Huntington's last draft was Nick Gonzalez, believe it or not. I do think, because I think Henry Davis, is that right? We might have to fact check that one.
Because 2019 was whenever Davis was drafted.
2020.
It was 2019 that Charrington had his first draft, because that he drafted I forget who it was, but I saw a graphic. He has 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Yeah, but Huntington got fired in 19.
So Huntington might have drafted and then Huntington might have drafted and then Charrington came in. And I think you're right. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think a mix of the two would absolutely change the Pittsburgh Pirates. But honestly, that's not that bad. I would take Huntington back. I mean, you think of, he was there for the years that the Pirates were successful. It's kind of like Mike Sullivan, for example, with the Penguins. His first couple years in were beautiful, and then after that, it was just this slow fall until we got to this point where we didn't realize how bad we actually were, and then it was straight nosedive.
Yeah.
And now Charrington's kind of hovering like, oh, we're like super bad, and now he's kind of fighting his way out of this hole a little bit and adding some excitement. But it's like everything. Take the step. I mean, look at the Athletics with how they're performing right now offensively. It's like I said, they get pitching, they're a contender.
Yeah.
So that's another one of my takes that I'm going to write down that I'm just going to throw out with no explanation.
Which, I almost forgot. Go ahead and say the takes you did not say. I didn't have, other than the Edinburgh one, I didn't have any honorable mentions.
I like that one there with Huntington. Alex, do you have any other ones that you want to throw
Nope.
out or no?
No,
All
I'm
right.
all good.
So I actually have a few more than what I had said. I'll offer no explanation unless you guys ask about explanation for one. Baseball players are the best athletes.
Okay.
Modern day pro athletes wouldn't make it in the old school era.
Agreed.
All right, hold on. 1,
Some wouldn't.
2. Ashton Genty will finish as RB2 overall this year.
Interesting.
And if the Athletics have pitching, they are a contender. And I look for them to make trades before the deadline to bring in that pitching.
Maybe buying from the Pirates a little bit.
But yeah, so that was the bold take.
You have any debates, drop it in the comments.
Yes, please do.
Feel free to argue amongst yourselves in the comments section as well.
Yeah, Dom
Or
wasn't
call
on the
us out
show,
if
so
you hate our picks.
Yeah, Dom.
Yeah, argue with Dom on TikTok.
Please do. Go to
Please argue with Dom on TikTok.
I think his is like at they hate DK or something like that. But anyway, for the final time, we got to pay the bills. Alex, go ahead.
One final time, I want to give a very special, sincere thank you to DeFrisha Recycling and Junk Removal for sponsoring this episode of Tailgate Talks. If you are interested in any of DeFrisha's services, including vehicle purchasing, scrap metal purchasing, appliance removal, junk removal, garbage services, dumpster rentals, curbside pickups, house garage and building cleanouts, or demolition around the Greenville and Pittsburgh areas, you can visit the links down below in the description of this video. Check out their website, check out their Facebook, get in contact with them, see if they provide the service that you need in your area. Thank you, DeFrisha, for sponsoring episode 105 of Tailgate Talks.
Oh, like I said earlier, call Braden.
Call Braden.
Ask him. He'll take care of you.
Yes. But yes, so that is it for this week's episode of Tailgate Talks. As of course, with each week going by, it's like I don't know if we're gonna have one next week or not. Of course, there are some ideas floating around. Anyway, so of course, pay attention to social medias, and you will find out about those ideas and such. And of course, watch at 6 o'clock. But I don't know, just make sure you pick the right time to watch the show. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, Alex, go right ahead.
It's a little too late for that.
Hard toss tonight. Good night, America.